It's July 23rd, which means T-Mobile's T-Satellite service powered by Starlink has officially launched, and that means most dead zones are officially gone. Even if you don't already have T-Mobile as your carrier, we've got the details. Hi, I'm Chris with the Mobile Internet Resource Center, here to give you an update on T-Mobile's T-Satellite service. Now, as we covered in our big update last month, T-Mobile had announced that July 23rd was going to be the launch date for this satellite service, and they have delivered. They've flipped the switch on their website, and it is now no longer beta. It is available. And in fact, if you have T-Mobile's Premier Experience Beyond plan or Go 5G Next, their top-of-the-line plans, you have this service for free built into your plan. And if you have any other T-Mobile plan, you can add it in the T-Mobile Life app just by clicking a button and add it onto your line for $10 a month. Now that is a promotional price, or it will eventually go up to $15 a month. They do not reveal when that promo ends, but pretty affordable. You can have satellite service for $10 a month, or if you have the Premier plans, you get it for free. Now, this actually applies even if you aren't a T-Mobile customer. You can get an eSIM plan that adds basically a second line to your phone for $10 a month currently, and eventually $15 when the promo ends. You get satellite service. But what is satellite service? This is not Starlink broadband. Even though it is powered by Starlink in the sky, this is not Starlink broadband. It has quite a few limitations, but it is still pretty cool, and it makes satellite messengers and a lot of other devices pretty much not needed anymore, because you can get satellite messaging on pretty much any phone. So here's a few more details. So first off, what it is. This is not Starlink broadband. This is a piggyback payload that a subset of Starlink satellites, currently 650 of them, are carrying, that broadcasts a T-Mobile signal, a cellular signal that is compatible with most phones made in the past 4 years, including every iPhone since the iPhone 13, most Android phones, and there's a list of 60 plus, with more being added all the time on T-Mobile's website. So it's just a regular cellular signal, a tiny sliver of a cellular signal broadcast from space, not the big broadband that you need a normal size Starlink dish to receive, but this works on your phones. And the cool thing is, it just works. You don't need to install any special software. You don't need to activate anything. You don't need to hold your phone up trying to lock into a satellite signal. If you are outside of a cell zone, and very important, you are outside because you still need a clear view of the sky, your phone should just switch from T-Mobile or whatever your other carriers to, it'll just show satellite up in the top corner of the status bar, and you will be connected to T-Mobile satellite, and you will still be able to get, now this is the other big limitation, you'll be able to get text messages. You won't be getting phone calls. You won't be surfing the web. You won't be streaming video. You won't be doing any of that. Right now, initially, the service is focused on text messages, which, again, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, can be the most important thing in the world, to be able to let people know where you are, that you need help, that you're on time, that you're safe, that you're in trouble. So text messages, including texting to 911, will work pretty much anywhere in the continental United States right now. That is pretty darn cool if you have this T-Mobile satellite service enabled. Now, also pretty cool, and this is now newly confirmed to be working and part of this launch, is if you are using Google Messenger, you can actually do picture messaging. It'll auto scale it down to low-res picture messaging and short audio recording messaging as well. So Google Messenger is the first app that is supporting T-Mobile's ability to send data and not just text messages over this satellite connection. It'll be slower, a little bit less reliable than you might be used to, but you can send pictures from the middle of nowhere and let people know, who are also on Google Messenger, what is up. That is pretty cool. Now, other apps and other things will be coming. Starting October 1st is T-Mobile's general target to enable other apps to start being able to have limited data connections. They say it'll be kind of a 2G-like experience. We expect the Apple's iMessages starting in the iOS 26 release this fall will be supporting this, and other apps will come on board that will enable this kind of low data experience, but you'll start to be able to do basic things, photo messaging, a little bit of audio, downloading your maps, Map apps will be supporting this. So you'll get a lot more functionality over time as this goes. And then over the years, as more satellites go up and everything else, they'll actually have more capabilities. T-Mobile says they want to be able to eventually do voice calls and, again, more like a 2G to eventually a 3G-like data experience. So again, this is not replacing cellular coverage. This is not replacing Starlink broadband, but this is satellite coverage in your pocket that you have with the phone you probably already own, working wherever you go. So it's kind of a cool major development in satellite service right now to have this out as an available capability at a pretty affordable price. Do you want to help keep this channel afloat? Well, you can do that by joining us over at the Mobile Internet Resource Center and become a member. And if membership is not for you, there's easier ways to support us. Just like, subscribe, comment, and share. Share our content, help get out to more people, and that keeps us floating and bringing more connectivity content to you. Now, one of the things people always wonder about services like this is, will it work everywhere in the world? And no, not yet. This is actually only being turned on in places that T-Mobile has spectrum rights, so the continental United States and places that T-Mobile has the spectrum rights. But Starlink is partnered with carriers around the world, including Rogers in Canada, which has just started a beta service in Canada for Rogers customers who can get a similar service there. And eventually, probably in the not too distant future, they will start to have roaming agreements so that if you have a satellite service on one carrier in one country, you will be able to roam to other countries that have similar agreements with Starlink. So you'll still be using the same satellites, but Starlink is relying on terrestrial partnerships. So they have to have a local carrier in each country that is loaning them a slice of cellular spectrum so that they can broadcast these signals. So Rogers in Canada has got the beta up, and at some point they will start turning on roaming, and other carriers around the world will have roaming. So you'll start to get international coverage probably later this year. We'll be tracking that closely. And then international waters, the FAQ on T-Mobile page says that they're working with Starlink to enable international waters coverage as well. These are places where there's not single carriers that have existing spectrum that they need to loan out. So again, that is something that Starlink will be working on and will hopefully be able to enable at some point this year, next year, where you'll actually have messaging works pretty much most places in the world that Starlink is legally allowed to operate. Not Russia, not China, not many other places that there's licenses required that Starlink does not have, but most of the world will probably have basic messaging to regular everyday phones in the not too distant future. So pretty cool, and kind of makes devices like the Garmin InReach quickly becoming obsolete once that sort of global coverage rolls around. Now, the other question we do get from some people is, well, you can get this very easily. You activate it if it doesn't already come with your plan in the T-Mobile T-Life app, or if you don't have a T-Mobile plan and you've got like a Verizon or AT&T plan, you can activate this as needed, just as an eSIM from T-Mobile. Easy enough. But if you do have a plan and you don't want your phone talking to the satellites for some reason, it's something that you can turn off. You dive deep into the settings apps of your phone, go down to the carrier settings, and you'll see a satellite toggle, and you can just turn off satellite, and your phone will no longer be paying attention to that satellite signal. So if for some reason you don't want to have your phone spilling over or talking to the satellites, that is something you can do. But again, for safety's sake, and if it's not costing you anything extra sake, it's probably a great feature to have. You gotta say that being able to get a text message, even if your phone is probably in your pocket and you're out hiking and you get a message that there's an emergency back home, that is really kind of worthwhile. And there's still are plenty of places that don't have great cell coverage. So this is kind of cool and kind of neat that that's available. Other question we get all the time is, well, what about the other carriers? This is a T-Mobile exclusive with partnership with Starlink right now. Starlink has made it clear that they are not, that the exclusive with T-Mobile will expire at some point. So they will probably be wanting to make deals with other carriers. But in the meanwhile, in the U.S., both AT&T and Verizon have gone their own directions. They are investing in a company called AST Space Mobile that is working on their own satellite broadband constellation that will connect directly to cell phones. But that is still years away and far behind Starlink. So they've only got a few satellites deployed towards that so far. Verizon has rolled out service to a limited number of Android phones that are using a different Skylo satellite network. It is very limited messaging. It's the one that you have to hold your phone overhead and kind of, T-Mobile teases them about acting like you're waving a magic wand to get service. It's much more complicated, much more basic. It does not have picture messaging. It's got a long way to go. But Verizon has a limited satellite service now. AT&T has none. And then, well, if you have an iPhone, every iPhone since the iPhone 14, Apple, in partnership with Globalstar, also has limited satellite text messaging service already available for several years now. Again, very basic stuff, but if you have an iPhone, you do have to play games a little bit to send and receive, but iPhones do have some satellite capabilities already. But T-Mobile, got to give them points. T-Mobile and Starlink, they are jumping way ahead. Again, the number of satellites really helps them with that. They're jumping ahead in the satellite internet messaging game, and it's going to be exciting to see how the future unfolds as T-Mobile and Starlink push this further and other competitors start to come online. It's an exciting time to stay connected. It's kind of cool to live in an era where cellular dead zones are a thing of the past, but, well, again, this is just text messaging. This is not watching Netflix in the middle of nowhere just yet, but it is exciting progress anyway. So that's the latest on a T-Mobile satellite. If you're going to try it out, let us know in the comments how it's been working out for you. We've had mixed things from people who've been in the beta, some people who love it, some people who don't. Now that it's out of beta and there's a more crush of users on it, will the service be able to hold up? Let us know in the comments, and we'll keep covering this as this service continues to roll out and expand. And if this is a topic of interest to you, come over and join us at the Mobile Internet Resource Center. We have some great conversations in our forums talking about all ways of staying connected, whether you're in high bandwidth needs or just needing the little messages to let people know what's up. So see you out there and keep connected.
These videos are brought to you by our premium members, our mobile internet aficionados. They make it possible for us to track this news and create these videos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, or better yet, consider becoming a member yourself.